All right, everyone. Welcome to the C21 Island Life podcast. I'm Carlos G., your host with Live Island Life. This podcast is about showcasing the Florida Keys. Whether you're interested in vacations, relocating, or just plain old love the Florida Keys, this podcast shares with you the daily life and the daily things about the Florida Keys. We get some knowledge as well. We get to do some funny things, but it is about you and it's about this place that we love so much. So hang on, watch our podcast, and welcome to the Florida Keys. Live Island Life.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Right.
What percentage of purchases in Key West right now are cash versus finance?
Well, I would say, 10 years ago, there was probably a lot more cash buyers because the market, the mortgage market was a mess and the rates were really high. Right now, I'd say it's probably about 50-50. I'd say, 9-10 years ago, it was probably more like 70% cash, 30% financing. I think it's changed a little bit now because the mortgage process is a little easier than it was back when the mortgage meltdown happened 10 years ago. And also that's easier to do too. You do it all online. And the interest rates are so low that even if people have the means to pay cash, a lot of times they figure, why would I when I can borrow money for 3% or 3.5%?
And a lot of the homes on the island are historic.
Right.
Super, they're being built 100 years ago. Does
Right.
that impact the ability to get a mortgage, the FHA, the conventional loan? Is there any impact on that, or?
It really doesn't, as long as the home has been updated. I would say most of our historic homes have been updated. We have in the Florida Keys the toughest building codes in the state of Florida. So anything that you do to that building, you have to continually improve it and bring it up to the code. Now it's next to impossible to bring a 120, 30-year-old house up to the fully code
standards.
But we do a lot of things like we do metal roofs, which are very resistant to wind, and we do hurricane shutters or impact glass. A lot of places now you go around, people are elevating homes, so there's a lot of that going on. But no, it doesn't affect the mortgageability at all. We do a little thing called a 4-point inspection that we get an inspector to do, and as long as the roof, the HVAC, the plumbing and electrical is all up to code, then there's really
everything's good.
No issue with a mortgage or insurance.
How about insurance?
Well, insurance market is a little different here than what we find in anywhere else, unless it's a coastal area. We have, there's 3 components to our insurance. So we have a flood insurance, we have wind insurance, and homeowners, which includes your fire. So we have something here called flood maps, which a lot of places may or may not, it may not be an issue because you're living in a very high elevation. Here we have flood maps. So depending on where you are, you might be in a different flood zone. And depending on when it was built, you might be raised to different levels. In Key West, because the homes are so old, we don't really find a lot of highly elevated homes like you find in other parts of the Keys where you have 8 or 10, 15 foot stilts and you can park under the house. We don't see that a whole lot here. But more and more we're seeing that. The majority of our Old Town area is in what we call the X flood zone. So in most of the Old Town area, you don't currently need to have flood insurance if you have a mortgage, which a lot of people don't realize. They think
that's surprising to me.
It's amazing.
Wow.
So those homes are probably the most sought after homes because those are the highest elevation.
Insurance rates are probably
rates are low. Yeah, so you don't need flood insurance if you have a mortgage in those areas, but if you get it, it's about $400 a year. So it's really not bad, and a lot of people figure, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm going to get the insurance and go. So, and then our things like our homeowners insurance, which includes fire, and our wind insurance. There's things that you can do to your house to bring down the cost on that, such as updating your roof, your doors and windows, smoke detectors or sprinkler systems. All those kind of things give you mitigation or credits towards your insurance cost. So we can really bring a lot of that stuff down if